3 minutes after 8 o'clock is where we're at. It is a Tuesday morning still here on the morning show, the 15th of April. And man, oh man, I'm looking forward to this part of the show. We often say that laughter is the best medicine, but how many of us actually treat it in that way? How often do you take this said medicine? Well, today we are back with Shareen Richter, who is South Africa's own laughter professor and global wellness facilitator, TEDx speaker, best-selling author, to unpack how laughter impacts the brain, the body, and more importantly, the workplace. From science to soul, she's here to show us why giggles, chuckles, and belly laughs might be the wellness hack we all need right now. Shareen, it's good to have you. I'm already on edge when we haven't even spoken a single thing. I don't know if you experience the same thing all the time.
I really do, but at least on edge has a smile.
Yes, absolutely. Shareen, I mean, a lot of us, when you're thinking of laughter, we think of it as this trivial thing. If you're in the office and you're laughing, they're thinking you're not even working, you're fooling around.
Yes.
But science is saying that this is actually good for us. Maybe tell us more about that.
Absolutely. You know, laughter is medicine. And as they say, laughter, there is no better medicine than laughter, because when you laugh, it changes the way you feel inside of yourself. And the reason why I believe the world is so depressed and people are struggling so much with trauma and anxiety and motivation is because we've stopped laughing and we've conditioned ourselves to believe that laughter is trivial and silly and stupid.
Yeah, and I mean, now especially, you know, we're seeing so much going on in the world. You look at geopolitical issues, you just so much feel all the stress, all the news, all the chaos that's happening. And in the workplace, everybody's starting to feel the pressure. We're making it to new financial years. So if you're in the finance space, you are probably crunching numbers like never before. And we get to that time when some people start to feel burnout and all these different places. How does laughter then alleviate that pressure, that weight that one would sometimes feel?
So the amazing thing about laughter is that, and this is all science-based, is that when we laugh, it affects us physiologically and biochemically. And the minute we start laughing or even smiling, so just doing this, sends a message to the brain to say, Shareen's happy, even if she's not.
Wow.
Because the brain actually can't tell the difference. But our bodies have been programmed and designed that the minute we do this, or we start to laugh, it sends a message to the brain, and the brain then releases what I call drugs. So these are all our feel-good happy drugs, like serotonin, endorphins, opiates, which is a chemical cousin to the drug opium.
Yes.
And this is free and legal. Dopamine, which is your motivating drug. So we get all of this just simply by laughing. That's how the body is designed and programmed. What's happening in the world today is we are going through so much change. People don't know how to deal with it. People are going through relationship issues, health issues, financial issues personally, and all that also affects the workplace, because you're not two separate people. You're not a different person at home and someone else when you get to work. What happens at home you carry through with you. The same is the reverse. What happens at work you take home. And as I say, where's stress? It's not in your drawer on your desk in the kitchen.
We're carrying it with us.
It's in ourselves, absolutely.
I'm so glad that you mentioned this, because I think a lot of times, and what sometimes happens is the mental health aspect, right? We've seen this growth over the last couple of years and focus on mental health, which I think is very important. But also mental health then takes a very clinical approach. Where laughter, like you're rightfully saying, it's organic, and you've got all these different happy drugs, so to say, that the body releases as a result of that. Is this also something that could be able to help in a space where someone might be feeling a little bit depressed, where someone might be feeling a little bit anxious? Because I'm almost imagining that when you are anxious, you kind of find yourself circling over that same thought and playing out the reality that could come from there. But you can't do that while you're laughing.
Absolutely. So there's a few things to answer your question. The first thing is, it's impossible to laugh and think at the same time.
Wow.
So really, laughter is almost like a mental holiday. So all that noise that's going on in your head, when you're laughing, suddenly it just stops for a moment, and you have that breath of like calm. And so that's the one amazing thing. The other thing is that when we laugh, our bodies are designed to make us feel better. Traditional therapy is great, but I think that there's so much noise and so much going on, and because the subconscious can't tell the difference between what's real and imagined, often in talk therapy we sit and we take ourselves back into that place of anxiety or stress or trauma, and then our body reacts physiologically naturally and brings up all of those feelings. So, you know, our heart starts racing up, blood pressure goes up. If you're angry and you start speaking about someone you're angry about, you experience that on a physical level, and it's very difficult then to change the way you feel. Everything is about how you feel. Your energy, when a person walks into a room, you can tell immediately what's going on with them. Are they cross? Yeah. Are they happy? Are they not? You know, you walk into an office, someone's in a bad mood. You really know they're in a bad mood. So the amazing thing with laughter is that it gives you the ability to change your body on a physiological level. And then after you've laughed, you feel so much lighter, because that's the way we're programmed. You feel so much better, and then it's possible to get out of that loop of anxiety and change the way you're thinking. But when you're stuck in that loop, sometimes it's almost impossible to get out of it. And we need something to shift that. So one of the best things, and this is a tip for all of your viewers, but acting happy actually makes you feel happy.
Oh, wow, because your brain can't tell the difference.
Absolutely.
It cannot tell the difference, and you still get the benefit.
Correct, and most of us really walk with our heads down, eyes down, shoulders dropped. But if you just start moving and walking and lifting your head up and smiling, immediately you start to feel better.
A week ago, I was in the makeup room with one of my colleagues just before the show, and she was telling me a story of her little one, and they had a sale at the school, and I laughed so much. I could not breathe, my chest is painful, but it was an absolute breakdown of laughter. But this is someone who's close to me. It's a colleague, it's a close friend, and it just made connection much tighter.
Yes.
Does laughter influence the type of relationships you have with people, being able to share a laugh with someone? Does it actually foster good relationships?
Most definitely. So what it does, which is very powerful, it takes us out of our cognitive thinking brain and it puts us into heart space. So when we laugh, because we can't think and laugh at the same time, we actually have what's called mirror neurons in our brains, where we mirror one another's emotions. So you'll find if somebody's been laughing, or a few people have been laughing, and you walk into the room, you'll find yourself just smiling or maybe laughing. I have a little granddaughter, and you know, sometimes I just practice laughter with her, and I'll just laugh at something and she looks at me, and because she doesn't know anything more, she just laughs
she just
as well.
out in laughter.
And it's contagious. So you actually don't have to have anything funny to laugh about. You just have to do the exercise of actually laughing.
So you break out in laughter just like randomly?
Absolutely, that's the point.
Like you could break out in laughter now?
Correct. The idea is that we don't laugh because we're happy. We laugh in order to make us happy.
Wow, I like that. Because a lot of times we wait for the conditions to be right before we actually get into the space of laughter, or the space of feeling like I'm deserving to be laughing. I need to watch some comedy show to actually break out into laughter. For someone who might be listening to this conversation and they're going, man, this is something I resonate with, what do you think it is that makes them, in a South African context, relate with it so much that with global companies that you've spoken to, that they also feel like, gee, Shareen, I relate to that so much. I've been carrying this weight and I'm just not smiling so much. Are we as a people in a space and time where we've just sucked the life out of living, that it's just kind of like running the mill, that we not really stop and pause and find something to smile about or even laugh about?
Definitely. You know, I think that because we have got the mindset that laughter is silly and stupid and people won't take us seriously if we laugh, that it's almost looked down upon or frowned upon, or how could this be a modality that could help with my mental health, that could help with my physical body. But the way a human being is wired is everything that we have is on us or given to us for a reason. So we have eyes for a reason, a nose for a reason, a mouth for a reason, ears for a reason, right? We use them every day. We have a heart and lungs. We use them every day. So why do we only use laughter when we're in the mood or when we feel like it? We use everything else all the time because it's essential for life. And that is the same thing with laughter. As babies, we start laughing at 2-3 months. We start smiling even before that, because that's the way that people connect. And when you are able to go back to that basic space of inner joy and happiness, and that's what it really does, you then are able to change everything on the outside world. And it's something that we don't use anymore because we've been conditioned that it's silly and stupid. And what I do is not about running up and down the passages laughing in the office, but really it's about using a resilience skill and learning a methodology to change the way you feel. So when you are feeling anxious, traumatized, depressed, nervous, burnt out, tired, there's a way, in the same way that you'd go to gym or you're trained for a marathon, we've got a way to work on your happiness.
Yeah, that is so good. And we're just celebrating International Day of Happiness just last month, and this conversation fits so perfectly. Well, Shareen, thank you so much. I think for a lot of us, we're having to do the work of just checking our posture, not just in terms of sitting right, but the posture of our heart and our joy, and being able to be a happy people by smiling more often and laughing more often.
Smiling much more often.
Oh,
Absolutely.
man, I love it. I'm even looking at you right now. You're just sitting here smiling. And like you're saying, the mirror effect,
Yes,
I can't help
can
but
see your smile too.
all the way through. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, TMS fam. I don't know about you, man. It brings a bit of sunshine into this Tuesday morning, just this conversation with Shareen. And that laughter is something that is genuinely contagious. You walk into a room full of people laughing, and you probably find yourself laughing as well. Often we feel serious and overwhelming. It's empowering to know this morning that healing, connection, resilience can begin with something as simple as smiling, and of course, a little bit of laughing. Coming up next, we get ready to wrap up the show on this Think Tank Tuesday. And all I can say to you right now is going to take a quick ad break. I can or cannot confirm if we'll be laughing our way through the ad break. We'll be right back. Thank you so much.
Thanks.